Hello, Pat Minner here. I'm going to give you a little bit of history, my history. And the only reason I'm going to do that is I want to share how I got my nickname, The Machine. And I did not give that name to myself, never even thought about it. But I was watched by a couple of different people. They were founders of knife throwing associations, and both international and national. And they watched me throw, and so they just said, hey, he throws like a machine. 99, I went to Las Vegas. It was sponsored by the Wild West Arts Club. Got to meet the existing world champion. And we were in a contest. There were several other people in that contest. And he went and threw, and he got ahead of me. And the last round, the only way that I could win that contest was throw a perfect 5 knives into a 2.5 inch bullseye. That's history now. The plaque's on the wall. I did it and beat the world champion. In 2001, in Phoenix, Arizona, I was in the World Championship, International Knife Throwers Alliance. It's in the first round. I threw a good score, the half spin, a good score, the one spin, a good score, the 1.5. But when I got to that 2 spin line, I settled down for a moment and I got square with that target. And I threw all 5 knives into that 2.5 inch triangle from about 18 feet, which is 2 full rotations of the knife. By the way, I did that with Bobby Branton knives. How did all that transpire? Well, I spent a great deal practicing in my life, probably more so than a lot of people. And I discovered something. And this, you know, I'm an aging knife thrower. I'd like to consider myself one of the elders in the championship ranks. And I practiced an awful lot to get those trophies and plaques on that wall and get my name known in a lot of the knife throwing ranks. How'd that happen? Well, throwing good scores and beating a lot of people. But what got me there? Well, when you practice a lot, and I've had this on my mind for the last 2 days, you start getting little minor breakthroughs. Something that you had been doing and doing and doing and not quite there, and then all of a sudden clicks. This is what I'm doing wrong. And I'm not talking perfection, I'm talking about getting better, training to be better knife and tomahawk throwers. And one of the things that you have to do is train your eyes. Knife throwing, tomahawk throwing, bow shooting, all of those things, it's all hand-eye coordination. To some extent, you're just naturally good at it. If you throw knives, you're just naturally good at it. You have a talent for it. But how do you develop that hand-eye coordination? Biggest secret, to me, the most important video that I've done henceforth is training your eyes to get square with that target. I'm not saying everybody go get a tri-square and do this, but I'm talking about where is this target at? First thing you can do is just get some knives and back up whatever your distance is, say 1 spin, and start throwing, and put a golf tee every time you threw, and see where your point of aim is. It might be over here with the way you're standing, it might be over here, it might be down low, it might be up high. But the most important key factor is that you get your body square with that target. if I were to run a string out here, I would see exactly where I needed to put that string in the center of my chest and where I needed to line up. If I had worked on getting where I throw naturally with that natural motion, then I would know where to adjust my body to correct that. It's like windage and elevation in rifle shooting or pistol shooting. You have to aim. The only way you can aim is to get square with something. If you look through a scope of a rifle, it doesn't necessarily mean that the rifle scope is squaring up. Now that's kind of a crude comparison. We're not talking rifle shooting, we're talking about throwing a knife. But if you can learn where your point of aim is, this target could be turned this way a little bit, or this way a little bit. And if you get up on the line and you just look at it, you won't notice it at first. But give your eyes time to adjust. Train your eyes to adjust to whether this target's like this a little bit or like this a little bit. That's going to affect your point of aim. If you practice endlessly getting square with something, the best way to do it is with a flat wall, flat target. That helps train your eyes. And then you get to a block, something like this. Sometimes they're not cut square. When they bolt them on, they could be turned a little bit this way or a little bit that way. So what I'm talking, as silly as this sounds, this is extremely important. Learning where your point of aim is, adjusting your body to account for that point of aim, so you don't have to try to bring that knife in this way or bring that knife in that way. You're dead square with that block, with that target, with that bullseye. So that's how I got the name of the machine. By the time I got to the 2-spin up there, I knew where I was hitting on half spin, 1 spin, 1.5 spin, and by that time I had trained my eyes to see exactly where that block was, and I knew my point of aim, and I lined up on that and stood in the same spot and delivered 5 knives that you could pull out with one hand. I was shocked. I was amazed. Practice a lot, develop the eyes to learn to get square with your target. I hope that makes sense to you. If you'll think about it and get out and try it a little bit, you'll see that I'm right. So I've been to tournaments where the block wasn't cut square, flush, even on both sides. The stand would be, but the block would be an inch or so either this way or this way. And if you don't take time to get your eyes focused on that, you have to train your eyes first. Take time to get that block focused in your mind, and you might see that you need to move over just a little bit. Either way, to get comfortable in that natural delivery. It's like a machine. They line up. The machine works perfect when it's lined up. Laser right to one point to another in a perfect straight line. So, thank you for your time.